Hello and welcome to the Wonky Gamer podcast, episode 9, to Wii EU or not to Wii EU? That is the question. I am Steph, and welcome back. We've got the usual crowd, Mr. Rammy.
Hello.
Mr. Dad.
Hello.
And Mr. Ferg.
Why, hello there.
And on this episode, we'll be doing a bit of a mix of talking about different stuff, but we will briefly mention the crazy Brexit business, and how that affects gaming. We're not going to get too political about it, but yeah, we're going to have a chat about that, and Dad's going to give a bit of a chat about LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, which he's been waiting for some time, and also Ferg's looking at doing a review on Technomancer, so we might have a bit of a chat about that. I've played that a bit as well, and we'll just be going, you know, we'll just be talking about a lot of releases this month, really, and the usual kind of chit-chat about what's out on Xbox Live and what's out on PlayStation Plus. So, without further ado,
it's time for the gaming news. Now, Ferg, you've probably done the most research into how Brexit's going to affect gamers in the UK, so why don't you kick off the ball and give us some of the broad strokes on it?
Let us know exactly how bad it's going to be.
Right, to say that it's going to be is kind of a tough one to call, because as we currently stand, there's simply no way of projecting past 5 years. There's a lot of very good ideas as to what's going on, or what might be going on, but for the time being, there is still a walloping great big question mark over there.
they didn't really work out a plan for leaving the EU, so it is a slight kind of minefield of actually what the hell is going to happen, really.
The UK gaming industry was really hoping we'd remain in the EU, and there's a selection of very good reasons for this. The first one being is recruiting. There's an awful lot of people who are going to be moving backwards and forwards between the EU, simply because of recruiting purposes. The other thing that people are going to have to be aware of is that games that are made or produced, generically speaking, or just simply published throughout the EU, will become more expensive, or it's very likely looking like it might become more expensive. It's a bit of a question mark, but there's an awful lot of companies that do produce a massive amount of product in the EU, and that includes absolutely everything PlayStation. Sony doesn't really produce anything over here. All of their hardware, all of the games are produced in the EU, so import costs could increase. So depending on the actual, depending on the publishers, depending on the developers, depending on how everybody feels over here, will actually depend on whether or not we are going to see a rise in hardware and software prices. That having been said, there's a few people out there that actually are under the impression that the software is actually probably be about the same, possibly even cheaper. But that's fine, as long as you're not buying any hardware. So the things like Project Scorpio, the things like the Nintendo Wii, the PlayStation Neo, and yes, everything else that comes out after this, if it travels through the EU, it and comes to us via it, then there's a very distinct chance that we are going to be paying considerably more for it.
The currency dropped 10% as well, which doesn't help.
Yeah, against the US dollar, which, you know what, that might not be as big an issue.
It's difficult right now to actually make any conclusion out of what's happening right now, because in terms of financially and everything, it may well sort itself out.
It could.
Yeah, it's still very early days.
But there's some very positive messages that have come out from UK games developers. For instance, and I'm going to quote Team 17 on this, we are entering a period of uncertainty, but the UK people voted, and this has to be respected. We'll leave that one alone for the moment. Team 17 are committed to continuing to develop our sustainable business with all of our partners around the world. And that was Deborah Bestwick, who's actually the managing director of the Worms development team. Wicked sick. However, that changes entirely because they're a Scottish-based developing group, and if it turns out that we do leave the EU and
Team
Scotland
17?
leave, Team 17 have always been based in Scotland. And
They're
if
based
they,
in Wakefield.
and Scotland, they're predominantly, if they do leave, if Scotland
they'll
does do
just
the
move
whole
to
EU
Scotland.
leaving thing and fun and games, then they will actually likely have a bit of a boom on their hands because they'll have all the best prices and be able to achieve all the right stuff. Scotland won't get hurt by this if it turns out that they join back with the EU. But that's completely hearsay. No one entirely knows. While on the other hand, you've got the opposite side of the scale where you've got the like of Coat Sync games, and we've just done we've just actually had the chance to do a little video review of the online multiplayer beta for their new game, Gang Beasts. And Tom Beardsmore is considerably less upbeat about it. And he was saying, in fact, he quotes, "I'm utterly shell-shocked. I'm so disappointed in 51.9% of my fellow countryfolk, blah, 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 blah. I fear that our voters will quickly see the situations go from bad to worse. On a personal level, I feel ideologically disconnected from the country now. In fact, our entire team, not to mention industry, appears to feel that way. As such, we're going to look at opening an office abroad imminently and go from there."
So
Now,
they're ready to jump ship,
they
basically.
are yes, you've got two entirely different areas, and that is why it's so unpredictable. So even if the software prices did fall and the hardware does go up, we're still going to have to concern ourselves with what's actually left of the British gaming industry.
I'm sort of devil's advocate here, you know. I mean, whether we give certain breaks to businesses to try and gain more businesses to come to the UK. And build up a kind of manufacturing industry in the UK, which obviously includes gaming and that kind of thing. Like whether I'm trying to look at a positive out of this situation. I don't want to get too much into the politics of it all, but potentially, you know, maybe the UK will make a major effort to actually, you know, do different things, I suppose, from
things
this
differently and
result.
entice
I don't
mordness
know.
here.
Well,
I mean,
this is something that Nesta.org, Yuki, and Tiga are all having to keep their eyes on because they're very much involved in how British-made games are going to be represented abroad and how much money they're going to get for them. And again, they're looking very optimistically at it. Our biggest problem will be that if in the fullness of time, Britain does leave the EU. I'm not going to make any comment on that one. But if, in the event that we do, recruitment becomes the biggest issue for the games industry. Now, if we happen to have people in this country who are up to that spec, so yes, if you're into developing games right now, get your kung fu on, get involved, get your skills on, because they will be looking. They will need to, because the moment they can't import staff, most of the companies, which we do have in this country, we have EA's Criterion. At least last time I checked, they were still here, but that's the only British-based EA company left. We have Ubisoft. We've got some of the biggest names right here in the UK, and not to mention the likes of Frontier Development was born here. The likes of Elite Dangerous, Team 17, they're all here. It's not like we have a lack of companies, but when we can't actually fill the seats to develop the games, that's when we have a problem, and that's when our gaming industry might take a hurt.
I think that's an interesting one, because actually look at the way that computer science is being taught in schools now. I mean, I'm probably the youngest here at a guess.
Yeah.
And similar to you guys, I think I missed out on a certain level of education because I was too old for this, essentially, at school. But they're teaching coding to like year 3 pupils in primary school.
Yeah, my kids do coding at school. They look at Scratch for building
Scratch
like basic games, stuff like that, because it is going to be one of those skills that
we'll be
young are going to need. Yeah.
Well,
actually, this is one of those moments I want to just do a quick shout out to one of my personal heroes, David Braben, the guy that's actually behind Elite Dangerous, and all the others. He's the guy that's one of the founding members of Frontier Development. He is also, just out of note, the guy that is also partly responsible for the Raspberry Pi. Yeah.
The what?
Raspberry Pi and Raspberry Pi
What?
2, as in the little box of lovely that we can get that you can plug into a monitor, and it comes with Scratch and its own compilings and all the rest of it. It's a beautiful piece of kit. Now, that's here in the UK. This is open source technology for any age to start learning coding. They can start today. Downloading Scratch to your own PC or laptop is free. It is not resource hungry. You can get
It's
on
all drag and drop.
it is, and it is a very simple first stepping stone into languages like Python, well, specifically Python is most likely, and then, of course, into the object-oriented languages like C++, which, if you can get that, folks, just as a point, yeah, that's a good into the industry. Very good start.
One thing I would say is that I know from experience there are people out there who will offer to teach you how to program games, and they claim to be TIGA registered. They claim to give you a full qualification that the industry will recognize. They come around, they give you a little talk, they show you a little presentation. At the end of it, they say, this is a disk full of all the software that we'll use. We'll charge you some money for it, and we'll email you a password. And I think the value worked out at about £5,000 that they wanted from me up front. And I basically knew this was going to be a scam because I'd done the research before the guy turned up.
Oh,
And
really?
I deliberately kept him talking
as long as possible,
as long as I possibly could, knowing that I was going to say no, and that he wouldn't have time to visit any of the other people on his list for that night.
Oh no!
So yeah, him thinking he was going to be scamming me, I was actually scamming him. But the main point is, if you want to get into programming and learning, do your research first. Don't just jump in because some guy says, I've got this course that shows you how to do it. Look up a proper course. I'm sure there must be some running at local community colleges and polytechnics and universities or whatever they are now. The Open University is something that everyone's heard of. It's something that everyone knows. I'm sure that they will have some kind of programming course on there. But do your research.
Well, I mean, I thought this is an interesting because I actually had a similar experience. I didn't actually end up meeting up guy because we'd arranged to meet, and then there was an issue with meeting on time and whatever.
He was stuck round at Ed's.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I mean, I didn't actually end up meeting up with him in the end. I think it was before I did a master's in social work or something like that. But at the time, I had that choice and this choice, and I just couldn't get that money together anyway. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised to hear that is actually a bit of a con. That's quite interesting to hear, actually, and it's good warning to people because, I was quite young at the time, but youngish, but I could have potentially ended up doing that.
Spending all that money and then having nothing to show at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever your views as well. I mean, I suppose we just tie up the Brexit thing, but I mean, whatever your views are about the whole Brexit issue, the current situation
is nobody knows.
I mean,
at the end of the day,
it's anybody's guess.
Too far to tell. To be honest, nothing's likely to change until we actually leave, and we haven't yet. And until Article 50 is triggered, blah, 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 there'll be no negotiations. That'll be all there is. And until we actually leave, we'll actually know the score as far as everything is concerned.
At the moment,
after 2 years, good question.
But currently everyone is doomsday prepping.
Oh, God, yeah. But
getting ready for the worst.
However, I have to admit the one thing that's actually brought me more concerned is, so that was actually a scam.
Yes.
Damn it. Yeah. I answered that in the Congo. I got that email and no.
Yep. We've tried telling you about this, Ferg.
We've all done it, man. I gave bank account details to an African prince on Hotmail.
Was he cute?
He was very cute.
Oh, get in.
Use winkies and smiley faces emotes.
Oh, well, that's how they get you.
I know.
That's
the way.
right.
That and pictures.
Yeah,
Right,
of
let's
cats.
moving
move on.
swiftly on.
Let's move swiftly on before somebody else gives away their passwords or bank account details. The Division Underground DLC was released on the 28th of June. I know that Rammy's had a chance to play that. I've had a dodgy disc for a couple of days.
A lot of fun. Yeah, you were missed, Dad. It was great fun.
Yes, my Xbox was being poorly.
Certainly, the Underground expansion adds a lot of new content to the Division. It gives you basically procedurally generated underground areas to explore. You can set up again, it's based on a team of people going in, really, for getting the best loot, but you can actually tailor-make your experience. So you learn more experience the more you play the Underground DLC, and you can set up different phases. Up to 3 phases you can tag back to back, and at the end of it you get sweeter loot drops and shinier guns, all that kind of good stuff that you'd come to expect from a game like The Division.
An underground farm?
Yeah, basically, it's an underground farm for loot, but the first level I played, I was blown away by the graphics because we went and attacked a Riker base under there, and frankly, I want to move all of my team, all the JTF, all the civilians we've saved, move them out of the post office in New York and into that underground bunker instead, because it was far cooler. There was all this bright neon lighting, lovely light shows, and it was awesome down there. Far more interesting than the actual post office. But that's just personal preference. I like bright lights and shiny things. But
my catch on the post office is there's an awful lot of space in there to do absolutely sod all in.
Yeah, there is. It takes the worst thing about going to the new area, because they've included a new hub before you go to the underground section and start your phases, going through these new missions. I mean, every time you start a phase, it's something completely different, and the maps themselves are kind of pieced together from all the different bits of the underground they've got. So each
like the
experience.
Old, Diablo 2 maps.
Yeah, so it's always be different.
Yeah.
So you're getting a lot more readability. So for people that really enjoy certainly the PvE side of things, the Division was a little lacking. You had, when the game first came out, you could do the daily missions or rerun the missions for PvE, and that was about it, and bump into the odd target on the main map. But not really a lot. Now added in high value targets, and they can be all over the map, and those are a lot of fun to run. Good to get you the older gear sets, and now the underground, which adds loads of replayability. You just never know what to expect next, and it's full of apps as well as all the bad guys. Tailor make the difficulty. You can even add on up to 5 modifiers to make the game even harder. The first one you unlock is it turns off your mini-map. It's called the Fog of War. So the more modifiers you put on, the harder the game gets, but the better the loot. So the trade-off. But it gives you all that readability, and if you want to have more of a challenge because you're all geared up and you find it easy, add a few more modifiers on. Great fun.
Right. I mean, for me, it's been like 2 weeks, and now I haven't got any other players on the PC version that I would otherwise be playing with to actually do that. They've migrated away. Now, I think we may actually be looking at the last 100,000 players, if that, on... Is it 100,000? No, 14. Maybe the last 10,000 players or so for the PC version.
I think it's suited more to a casual market.
Yeah.
That type of game, because you can pick up and play it. Like I have got it on the Xbox, not the Xbox, but PlayStation 4, and I've played it now and again. Like I got it in the last month, and I just picked it up now and again and enjoyed it. But like I only play as a casual game. It's not something I dedicate lots of time to. Like a PC game, I don't want to make stereotypes here, but a lot of PC gamers would pick up a game like The Division and think, this is going to be my MMO. I'm going to play this absolute shit out of it,
non-stop.
hammer it, and they've done that, and they've done all the content, and they're bored, and a new shiny thing comes along, and that's where they're going with it, and any expansions perhaps they're not necessarily that invested, because I think a lot of PC players expected more out of The Division in terms of long term, maybe.
Yeah, straight out of the gate. Certainly the Underground DLC, I think, puts new life into it. Give it a go. If you have lapsed from playing it, certainly come back and check out the Underground. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
I'm now convinced he's stalking my Steam account. You've just nailed exactly what happened for me in my lot.
Well,
something else that's shiny.
Let's move on to games that are out this month.
Are we going to start with Star Ocean?
Yeah, you probably know the most about this. You were looking forward to this, Steph.
It's also the first one coming out. So,
can I slightly lose my shit over this game a little bit? Because
go on.
I want to get something incredibly straight to every viewer out there who reviews games, right? Do not compare a JRPG to The Witcher 3. It's like comparing a Japanese anime to The Sopranos, right?
That's
they're
crazy.
two separate types of genre with different expectations from the audience. Totally bloody different. So stop comparing this game to The Witcher 3. It will never be The Witcher 3, and personally, I didn't like The Witcher 3. I like more Japanese anime RPG-based games. So, IGN, go hang yourself. Anyway.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We've got to get him to lose his shit more often.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't like IGN. Just let me get that out there. I probably shouldn't say that on this podcast. Whoops.
Why not?
Why not?
You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'm a bit dubious about seeing IGN broadcasts as well.
Yes. I mean, we can back onto IGN when we talk about the Technomancer a bit later, because I've got a few things to say about that as well. But
yes.
But Star Ocean, I mean, I was thinking of this. I haven't actually bought it, so let me get this. Let me explain this first. I'm not actually totally up for this game at all, but I did have to make a point about that because it's upset me that reviews are comparing it in that way. But Star Ocean's history is epic, long Japanese RPG. You travel to lots of planets. You level up. It's a bit of a grind fest. It's what you expect for a Japanese RPG. Combat is sort of very similar to the Tales of games. You know, it's a Japanese RPG, and the old ones used to last about 50, 60 hours. This one lasts 20, and you hardly leave on it, apparently.
Really?
When you do, it's only for a brief while.
Ooh.
So
that's not much of a
Star
Star
Ocean,
Ocean then, is it?
It's not really. So I was going to buy this day one. I was pretty sold on it. I was like, I'm going to buy this day one. You know, I'd rather play this over anything else coming out. And I read some early reviews from people that played the Japanese copy, and I just thought,
maybe not.
Maybe not. You know, yeah. I mean, I don't know why they've made it so short. They obviously might have had a tight budget. I mean, the last game did very well. It's very long, very interesting, but yeah.
This is more Starland than Star Ocean.
Yes, exactly.
Star Ocean, the last Ocean game was quite a while ago, though, wasn't it?
2009. Star Ocean.
Wow.
What was it? New Hope, or it's a Star Wars game?
Yeah.
Star Wars film, even. I can't remember.
Are you a bit young to remember the last one? Oh, sorry.
Ooh.
Bird.
Actually, yeah, definitely wasn't alive at New Hope, unfortunately. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, sorry for the rant, but yeah, that's about it on Star Ocean. If you like JRPGs, it's probably good, but it's incredibly short and got the usual tropes and cliches of Japanese anime, which if you like and you expect that from a JRPG, great. If you want to play Skyrim, then don't play JRPGs.
Yeah,
What's
play
that?
Skyrim.
Play Skyrim, like the remastered version that's out in October, I think it is.
Oh, quick question. So, how many digits on a Dragonborn's hand?
No idea.
4 fingers and a thumb.
Oh,
Lol.
God.
That was halfway there. Halfway there.
There we go.
So what else is coming out?
Fahrenheit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty hyped about this. I played it on PC, and I have got. They're basically remastering a game called Fahrenheit, Indigo Prophecy, which I think was called Fahrenheit in the US and Indigo. No, other way around. Fahrenheit in the UK and Indigo Prophecy in the US, I think.
Yeah.
Now it's called the same thing.
I played it on PS2, I think.
Oh, did it come out on PS2?
Or was it
well?
PS2 or PS1?
I played
One
it on
of
Xbox
them.
360.
60.
It'll be PS2.
Yeah, it must have been, but I played it on one of them and it was absolutely awesome.
It's a really good game. It's made by the guys that have Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, and they're also doing an up game. What's it called? The one with the android.
Detroit.
Oh, Detroit,
Yeah.
that looked very interesting.
Quantic Dreams.
Yeah.
But this is one of their early ones, and it's quite an interesting one, to be honest. But that's...
It wasn't massively long, but the story and the way it sucked you in was brilliant.
I'm sure it was...
My one catch with the game
Or did the time fly?
I don't know, it's probably 20 hours.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm pretty sure I played it all in one sitting, though.
I did that
Yeah, I
with Heavy
think
Rain.
I did the same. My one catch is that I'm not a big fan of time events. An entire game of quick time
events
is just like headbangingly annoying for me, because I'm trying to play a game with a pair of flippers here. You know, it's just not working.
It seemed to work really well in the concept of the story and stuff, though. It did feel good playing the game. And as I say, one sitting for the original. Gutted it is a PS4 exclusive. I still don't have a PS4.
Get it on PC remastered.
Yeah, but I'm terrible with mouse and keyboard.
It probably has controller support, I guess.
Ooh,
I'm not
I
sure.
might be tempted if it does.
So
yeah, it might do.
That's Fahrenheit that's on the 18th of July, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So I'm guessing it's going to be
I'd
10 to 15 quid.
Yeah, it's $15. I know that, so it should be about 10 to 15 quid, depending on what the hell's happening with the
market.
The UK
pound.
Yeah,
it's going to cost. It's going to cost more. It's definitely going to be over 10 quid. I don't think it's 1 point. Yeah, there's another number on there.
150 quid.
No, thankfully not.
No, but I mean, I think I'd recommend it if anyone wants to play kind of older game but it's very story focused and is really involving. Like, the graphics aren't that awful. I mean, they're probably PS2, Xbox 360, maybe Xbox 360 level. I don't know. If
they've remastered it, they may have done a little bit more.
They might have a bit of a shine and polish. So
I mean, I'd recommend it. It's a good game. It's really fun and it will absorb you for, sort of 10, 15 hours or however long it is. It's really good. I'm going to get it and I'm going to do a Let's Play of it. Like, really want to play it. Yeah,
so do I.
So, the 15th of July, going back in time, we've got Disney Art Academy on Nintendo 3DS, and for the Xbox One, it's the MX versus ATV Supercross Encore Xbox One version release. So if you like your motorbike...
That looks like motorcycles.
It is a motorcycles.
Motorbike game.
It's
quads.
motocross versus all-terrain.
Oh,
Yes.
ATVs.
Yes, that's why it's called MX versus
Can you-
ATV.
That would make sense.
Yes.
Can you knock each other off your bikes and quads?
I would
Yeah, is
imagine
it
so.
like Road Rage?
It's not a game
Road
that
Rash.
I've actually played,
Road
if I'm
Rash,
honest.
yeah.
I'm not really into bike racing, to be fair. So
The only thing I'm interested in is Fahrenheit, and that's just a remaster of a really old game, which will be great.
To be completely honest, there's a reason why we've had a bit of a lag in the games. All of the companies have been waiting to see what we're going to do. And that's the only
That's
reason
what it
why
is.
we've had a bit of a lull. Oh, absolutely, because the entire market has been wondering where we're going to go with regards to the EU. And now that we have a vague idea, or at least some kind of idea, companies are now more likely to start releasing games again. It's just everybody wants to know how much they're going to be pricing the games up over the next 2 years. And that's really kind of where it comes down to. So we may have just seen this little lag in service, but I think we're actually going to see a pickup very quickly, especially what with all the contenders from E3.
yeah,
The
E3 's
market still needs
Yeah.
to settle, though.
It will, yes, but it might settle low or it might settle lower.
But the one game that I'd seen this month that I was thinking about picking up was Batman: Return to Arkham, the remastering of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. I'm led to believe it may be on the new combat engine as well. I'm going to hazard a guess and say it's probably the same one they used for Arkham Knight, but it's been a delay.
No.
They have delayed it, unfortunately.
When was it meant to come out?
It was supposed to come
July
out
the 29th.
on the 29th of July. We're now not sure when it's going to come out. But games cynics are wondering if it's all some kind of ploy to sort of let's delay it as long as possible until Batman VR comes out. We'll release them both at the same time. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. But the cheering news is that there's a new Batman Arkham Knight skin, which is a weird costume from some dream that he had, or sometime when he got his mind wiped. And that is for people on the Warner Brothers website, the forums, I think.
I mean, you can't blame them, though, can you? Like, in terms of profit.
Well, putting it off? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an odd one because they've already got... They've had Arkham Asylum, they've had Arkham City out so very long. Remastering both of those games sounds interesting enough. But then you've got Origins and Arkham Knight. Both games, I've enjoyed the entire series. So I'm not entirely certain why they're bothering doing it, because then they can stagger it over a longer period. But maybe they're trying to compress things down into the quarters because they're worried about something.
Well,
it's Warner Brothers. Come on, they've just taken a hurt.
Well,
Big
maybe
one.
it's actually what you've said more about this month. Maybe places want to avoid this month
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, the other
Because of
side
what's
of it
going on.
is that if they were to release it with Batman VR, everyone's going to be playing Batman VR because it's one they haven't played yet. And by the time they finish that and are ready to play the other two, someone will have released something new.
Yeah.
But who here can afford a VR headset?
No. Not me.
No,
No.
not me
And
either.
I mean,
no matter
I'm
how
still
much I love
using
Batman,
both my knees.
yeah, no matter how much I love Batman, I just don't think a Batman VR title is going to convince me to go out and spend a shed ton of money on a piece of kit that will also require its own insurance policy.
I think the thing is with VR, I just don't. I mean, I think it's great, but it's too much money right now, and
Yeah.
especially with what's just happened, going to probably dip back into another recession potentially. You know, like buying more object for your consoles at this point is a little bit crazy. I mean, I think they should have a longer, a fairly long life cycle like the PS3 and Xbox 360, and really kind of milk the consoles. Really, they are doing obviously, but
the
VR
problem
does seem a bit of a rich man's.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The problem for myself, and I can probably imagine Rammy as well, and most of us, is that, well, especially for me and Rammy, for us to set up a VR rig, that involves buying a PS4, the VR gear, PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
You're looking at, what, best part of 600 quid there.
Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Well, that's
A
without
lot.
the VR kit.
No, that's
No,
including
that's
VR.
with
That's
the headset and
Is that
the
with
console.
the VR kit?
Yeah.
Well, at least
Yeah.
on the bright side, that's considerably cheaper than the PC gamers are going to be paying.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
But
because
then, I mean-
they could be looking at considerably more, like 100 to 200 pounds more than the console players. But
Yeah.
they also need to have a well-organized rig for it and a video card that can use it. And yeah,
And it seems to be mainly the newest video cards that are coming out now that are going to be the ones that are going to support VR.
NVIDIA have basically said GeForce 970 GTX and above will be
The basic you need.
VR compliant, be able to do it. But essentially, after that, you should seriously consider upgrading.
But I kind of see us at the moment, like when I grew up with computers, which was, probably a bit later than you guys, but I grew up with DOS, right?
I
Yes.
I didn't have anything before that. But I think VR is in that mode, where at the moment, like, people are, like, playing about with floppy disks and seeing what it does.
Yeah.
But the actual kind of affordable level gaming that is kind of actually where it becomes mainstream and it becomes a really big thing and everyone only plays VR and that's where all games are going, that's 15 years away. It's a way away because,
I'd like to
essentially
think it's
gaming will merge into VR one day and that will be all it is.
I'm kind
Probably.
of hoping it's going to be closer than 15 years.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't want to wait that
kind
long.
of hoping 7 to 10 years.
Do you think?
Yeah, I actually want to think that in the next 7 to 10 years, we actually see a very popular, easily purchasable VR kit for home entertainment. And it will
I'm
probably
gonna put
come
out
packaged with
conspiracy
the rest of
theory.
it.
Oh, go on then.
Nintendo NX. What's going on with that? They haven't released any info on it.
Oh, think that'll be
Nobody
a nice
knows.
entry level VR.
Maybe. Might be the cheap, like, kind of cheap option with, like, a very cheap headset that kind of, because it won't have a lot of processing power because it's only going to be kind of these games that aren't really that much graphically better than the Wii U. So, I guess, I don't think they're going to be forking out loads of money on amazing graphics. It'll probably still be worse than the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
And it is
graphics-wise.
Nintendo.
They might. You never know. They're always looking at the trends, and
Yeah,
VR could be it. Who knows? They haven't released anything on it. Nothing.
yeah, that'd certainly be one way to try and trump Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah. Knock about the park with the early sales of a cheap VR unit. Yeah, go for it.
Imagine it. People would absolutely go for it, and they'd be able to sell
Yeah.
it on that kind of, like, with the Wii, with the controllers and the Wii Fit. They'd be able to sell it with that kind of market in mind. Like, you can do exercise while immersed in a world, and I mean, they could potentially try and hit that kind of family market again.
Yeah,
I
they
won't
could
touch
tap
it.
into that.
I'd never touch it because I know for a fact that they're gonna, the headset, the hand pieces, they're gonna look like freaking Mario. It's gonna be like little Mario in one hand, little Yoshi in the other, and you've got a head that actually looks like a freaking mushroom. Sorry,
Well, probably
I'm
the
gonna
glasses
pass on
will
that.
give you that mushroom head to
But
wear.
think
Yeah.
about it. They've got the controllers for that shit already. They've got the nunchuck, and you can wave the controller about. They've got the physical. They've got the sensor.
They've got
They've already made a lot of progress. So
I mean, it could happen. I mean, they went and just out a load of money on those odd controller screens for the Wii U.
yeah,
I mean, maybe that's what it is. I think I've solved it. I think I've solved the NX problem.
I think that's definitely worth following up.
yeah. No, I'm excited to hear when they do release it, just to see if you were right there. You might have called it there.
Hopefully, I've called it. We can look back on this moment and go, we called it.
That would be good.
What's next?
Tweets from Sean Murray on
From No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
Lead designer, isn't he? Of the No Man's
he
Sky.
is. He made a couple of tweets on June the 17th. The first one being, "Yay, we finally settled with Sky. They own the word Sky. We can call our game No Man's Sky. 3 years of secret, stupid legal nonsense over." So what
Just
we
a
may
quick-
have here
a quick point. Sky is a British sort of television and broadcasting service that a lot of people use. If anyone's listening from abroad.
Yes, and
Yeah.
uh,
They're
they own the
highly
word
with the likes
Sky
of
somehow.
Fox. Yeah, because
And-
because of the brand titling and the marketing behind it. It's its own brand name. It's like Apple. You can't call another product Apple without getting Apple jumping all over your face.
Yeah, and Sky, they won the case against Microsoft because Microsoft had to change SkyDrive, OneDrive, which was in another follow-up tweet from Sean Murray. So, the fact they're allowed to call the game No Man's Sky is kind of a big deal. And that may have been the real reason behind the delay for the product until August 9th, I believe.
Imagine the number of games out there that were going to have Sky in their title that actually happened to be part of, the double to triple A title releases, from any of the larger companies like Microsoft or Microprose or Ubisoft or EA. Now, none of these companies could put Sky in their freaking title without having to go for legal.
Well, you know what? The future's bright. The future is certainly not orange. Sky TV, Sky TV, 15 years probably won't exist. People just using Netflix, Now TV, whatever.
But the thing I'm thinking is that, so if you can own a word, why don't we just all go out and buy up half the dictionary?
Words.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough money for amazing lawyers.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That can then defend it.
Plus, on top of that, that's their brand. They bought the word of the brand. It's like 20th Century Fox did the same thing.
I could understand it.
They've got more of an argument because brand is in the public eye.
I could understand it better if No Man's Sky had just been called Sky. That would, okay, fair enough. There's going to be some confusion there. But No Man's Sky is completely different to Sky.
It's got another two words on it.
I'm just going to make a very quick metaphorical example as to why, the harsh reality of existence. I honestly didn't think 51.9% of people would vote Brexit. But
no
they did.
politics.
Sorry.
Word! But there you go.
Right.
That's the way it plays.
But stuff happens.
Yeah.
But it's good to see they are actually allowed to call their game No Man's Sky, and they've not had to change it to just, No Man's...
Thing above you.
What's it?
Right,
you know what we mean.
You're right, Dad. It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it?
It is.
No Man's Space.
How does that work with the movie industry as well? Do they get really twitchy over Skyfall?
Yeah, well, we didn't see a Skyfall game, did we?
Well, it was all one word, though. They probably dodged it because Skyfall was just one word. That's not Sky.
Oh, it's not Sky. It's Skyfall.
Or they probably made a deal with
Sky. You can have the rights to it first.
With Sky.
Exactly.
You get to sell it first on your platform.
Probably.
Now it's time for games we're looking forward to.
If we're going to go into games we're looking forward to, it might be worth mentioning as a segue that we're probably all looking forward to No Man's Sky because
that's
coming out
indeed.
in August. August the
9th?
9th?
It's the 9th of August.
Is that in Europe?
Oh, I haven't. I didn't double check whether that was Europe or UK.
Because
we're 2 days later.
That may be a tangent now as well, because certain UK release dates may also change because of this whole finacle.
Well, hopefully it'll become earlier because it was 2 or 3 days later in the UK for some reason.
And now you say that, but here's the catch. Look at Australia. Australia get the majority of their games way after everybody else's release date, even though, including American games, which are only a small stretch of ocean away. And for some reason, some games over in Australia end up being released nearly 3 to 6 months way after
the rating system. Like a lot of games get released before anywhere else in the world in Australia by almost a day. But you're right, some games take 6 months because they have their own rating system that Australia's really, really hardcore on censoring titles. A few titles that never even came out or had to get changed that came out in Australia. I think.
Well, take for instance the fracas that they actually had trying to receive Left 4 Dead 2 and Aliens Colonial Marines. Or sorry, was it Alien Colonial Marines or was it Aliens versus Predator?
I don't know, but I remember hearing.
One.
I remember hearing about For Dead. They had to change. Yeah. Did they have to change the blood to green or something stupid?
Yes. Actually, no. It was.
They did
it was
that in Carmageddon
by Rebellion, because Rebellion actually turned around and said something rather good.
I was going to say I don't think it was Colonial Marines because nobody was that impressed with that one.
No one played that, did they?
I played it, but it was predictable.
It was awful.
It was not what I wanted, and I was really looking forward to something quite special. I love the cameos by Lance Henriksen and Michael Biehn, and I did like the extension to their story, but the gameplay itself and the way it worked was sloppy, bug-ridden, and just a general fucking fracas. And I think Gearbox, given the wonderful start they had with Borderlands, should be ashamed of themselves for every game they've done since. Bar none.
Oh, now August 9th in North America and August 10th in Europe for No Man's Sky.
It says the 12th of August on the PlayStation site.
Ooh, they're mixing it up.
I just don't know. I don't know why in the UK. I think it's because it's the UK. For some reason they're releasing it several days later in the UK, which they've been doing like when we had the previous release date. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I was under the impression that when the date moved back, that they'd also then brought the UK in line with the rest of Europe.
No, I don't think
so. We shall just have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, that's...
So 10th or 12th?
Here we go, 10th of August. This is on the PlayStation blog. No Man's Sky will launch in Europe the 10th of August, 12th of August in the UK. Again, I'm annoyed about this. Why?
Yeah, there'll be some reason.
There'll be good reasons, yeah. Well,
what?
There'll be reasons.
Servers? I don't know.
I wouldn't mind, but Hello Games are based in the UK, aren't they?
Well, and also, if you look at servers for online games, I hate to mention it, but League of Legends, they're based in Germany, the whole of the western part of Europe. So I don't see why being in the UK would have a different effect on...
Delivery dates?
Yeah, I don't...
Because, well, keep in mind, here's the thing. While Hello Games, as you said, may well be, they're the developers and they're based in the UK. But if the publishers are over in the EU, bing, there you have your problem. Because it becomes a logistics nightmare. And costs are involved and everything else. And the oversight of the crazy god of gaming.
Also,
goddess, even.
In the production of a game, there is a pressing date where they start pressing. Some companies have been known to leave that pressing date right up until the very, very last minute so that they can get the bug fixes and beta test notes and changes made from that. So some games will be developing right up until the very last minute and then have to hit the press. So that it may be, like Ferg was saying, a delivery thing. If they're coming from Europe, they're going to get to the shelves in Europe quicker than they are the shelves in the UK because they've got to travel the channel over the channel.
They've got to get here.
Then they've got to
usually all of that kind of thing's
allowed into the UK.
But this is one of the few games that has this situation, isn't it? I mean, you would know a bit more about this, Dad, because you get games in where you work. But is this a bit of a one-off, or is this a regular occurrence with certain titles?
There are certain titles. With Star Wars Lego, that was released on the 28th for most of the consoles. The Nintendo 3DS. All the Xboxes, well, both the Xboxes, both the PlayStations, the PS Vita, but the Wii U version comes out on the 5th. I have no idea why.
But I'm betting
there's no logic behind it.
Isn't it a different? I mean, it's the same, but surely graphically,
it's a different controller system, I would imagine, because you've got to have the pull down.
We need support for.
Yeah.
Is it possible for us to pause recording for just a moment, please? Very sorry about that, gentlemen. That was
Nature calling.
nature calling rather unexpectedly.
So next up in games we're looking forward to, XCOM 2 on the Xbox One.
Ooh.
Yes, can't wait for that because I've always loved the XCOM series of games. Played XCOM The Unknown and Enemy Within to death and was absolutely gutted when they announced XCOM 2 was PC only.
It was only a matter of time it would get out there.
Has it already come out?
Yeah,
on
that's
the
what I
PS4?
hope.
No. Is it coming out?
I think it
I've
is coming
not
out on
checked
PS4
because
as well, because I think I read somewhere that it was coming out on PS4, and as soon as I saw that, I was instantly gutted, thinking, well, why can't I play it? But apparently, yeah, I think it's coming out on both.
You can.
Well, XCOM Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within were both released on Xbox 360. And sadly, they really did need a better video card. But
Xbox One, the Xbox One had a recent, I think it was last month's game for gold. It was a freebie. The original XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Enemy Unknown. Yeah, it was on 360.
It will be released on both of them on September the 6th. In North America and 9th in Europe.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Excellent. So yes, it's coming out on both.
Yes, that's good news because I can't wait to play it.
I'm really looking forward to it as well.
I've played it because I'm your resident PC gamer here. I got it the day it came out. I played it to death over and over again. And everything that you loved from the first XCOM Enemy Unknown from the Firaxis Games group, it's all there and even more. The maps are wicked. The armor is beautiful.
You also mentioned that we do have a slight plan that we didn't manage to get together this week, but we are hoping
in the near future.
Yeah, to do a kind of let's play where Mr. Spindles, the man himself, plays it with characters who are us, inverted commas, with our names, and
we'll all talk about it as it happens and suggest strategy.
No, don't put me there! I'm not the fucking decoy!
It could be
I bet I die first. So confuse me as the bullet sponge.
Yep, he's going to send you out as the scout.
Of course he is.
It's totally worth finding out that at the beginning of XCOM 2, like XCOM Enemy Unknown, the odds are stacked against you.
Maybe we should have a numbering system.
Yeah, well, your name and then a number.
Yeah.
Which clone is this now?
Rammy number
Death
1.
Clone number 43.
Well, if it's like Paranoia, then we get 5 each.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We'll work out some kind of scoring system to see who dies the most.
Sweet
I bet it's me. He's so gonna. I will be used as the decoy, the lure, you name it.
How about we actually make a sweepstake? The winner actually does something on show.
Oh, well, that could be good. Yeah, whoever dies the least.
Yeah, and we make it humiliating.
We'll create a whole betting
Get them to play Risen and do a review of it.
And if you win, you get a copy of XCOM 2.
What we can do is we can set up a website with a scoreboard or a league table of some kind, and what the players or the viewers choose to do with it is entirely up to them.
Let's say this is hypothetical, because that might involve a lot of work.
Yes, and I can't do it.
It's a good idea.
You'll be able to tell from the...
Simon do it.
We should be able to... Well, Syke probably could do it, but we'll see from the video whose clone is on number 6 and who's still on number 1.
Enjoy it, you know, maybe.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll go on for a bit. I mean, if people get into it and there's a bit of buzz around it, then we'll probably keep it going.
Out of quick curiosity, out of the 5 classes that you can play in XCOM, which is your favourite?
Well, for survival, I suppose I would want the one who can snipe, so I don't die.
I was going to say, I'm quite fond of the old snipers as well. But it depends on
I
which,
like the
You're a
assault
wise man,
class.
then.
depends on which XCOM classes you're talking about, though, because if it's the original ones, you can start going into mechs.
Yes, I was just going to go with the original 5: sniper, assault, heavy, and actually, one of them sort of mildly changed for XCOM 2.
There's an
Well-
engineer, isn't there?
You have
Yes.
sniper, gunslinger. You have psi, old scout, assault, and some kind of psi.
Yeah, the psi operative's back, but you need to unlock it again.
Yeah, but you add that on top of one of the original classes, don't you?
Anyway.
But anyway, that's for the future. We're all very excited about
Yeah,
XCOM 2.
I think that would be
yes.
a great game if you want a bit of a strategy game with sort of story that's hard as hell and die, and it's like, I don't know, Game of Thrones. It's great. Let's not actually. I nearly decided to go into Game of Thrones there, but let's avoid that.
No, let's avoid that.
Yeah, so let's not
But it was
spoil
good.
things. It was good. It was awesome. Anyone who's...
Yeah.
Amazing.
I know people who are still on Season 2 and Season 3, and it's
Yeah.
very difficult because it's
Got a
like,
lot to look forward to.
could you hurry up and catch
Imagine
up?
if you had all
Because
that to watch.
imagine if you had watched all of that and couldn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Is this Game of
that's the cult.
Thrones?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
this is Game of Thrones. Oh, all right. In that case, I feel as though I'm well within my place here as a person that A, hates Game of Thrones books, B, hates Game of Thrones series, to drop this walloping spoiler for you right now, all of you, everybody in the world. The White Walkers win because all of the characters are douchebags. I'm
You know
voting
nothing,
White
Jon
Walkers
Snow.
for president.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Jon
Right.
Snow.
Right.
Jon Snow.
Steph, what are you looking forward to then?
I mean, I won't go into too much detail. We've already talked about this. Fahrenheit, can't wait. Excellent game to do Let's Play on. Story based, people like watching it, hopefully. Like, really fun to play. What I am particularly interested in, and I'm toying with this idea, and, whether I end up doing it, I don't know. But I've got incredibly hype after E3. After our last, sort of podcast of talking about E3, and we were kind of like, oh, well, Nintendo only did Zelda and
but
vague things
Zelda.
like Pokemon and whatever. I've sat and watched through the Zelda stuff.
It looks amazing.
It looks fucking epic. Like,
It
oh my
does.
god. And I've been, it's my birthday and on July the 16th, yeah. Send me some
hint,
presents
hint.
on PayPal, boys. I'll make a little list. No, I'm joking. I'm not that kind of Twitch user. But however,
Yet.
yes,
Yet.
I could become one.
If people keep on
fancy
sending us
donating.
gifts, then
Yeah,
we're not sending them back.
But I am toying with the idea of looking at whether any fundage I may acquire for my birthday, and maybe with an addition of some pay, whether I do potentially get a Wii U, because the game's got me pretty hyped.
Well,
And
I
Wii U's
recommend you
got-
do that and move into
After-
my house for a week, and we'll
Well,
just play
that's
it
the
to
thing
death.
with the Wii U. Like I know that the thing with it is it's it's kind of not that amazing, whatever. But the thing I like about the Wii U, like, there's a couple of major things. The new Zelda looks absolutely shit hot. You've got the Wind Waker HD version. I wasn't the biggest fan of Wind Waker, but that's on there. Skyward Sword, which didn't get to be completely through, but you can play that backwards compatible on there. They've got pretty much everything on there. And then on top of that, couch co-op, which we always all talk about. Like, I mean, Rammy lives around the corner. Ferg probably isn't that far away. We can maybe organise a bit of a drinking session and, like, get out a Wii U and some
Drunken
controllers.
Zelda.
Drunken Zelda.
Yeah,
Now
or
that,
a road trip and
Drunken
see
Zelda
Dead,
for the
and,
win.
like and Mr. Simon as well. Like there's a lot of like fun potential with that kind of console that is lacking in the consoles, and I am getting sold on it. Zelda really is, like, it looks seriously good.
It looks so good.
It apparently the size of it is something like, I think they said something around about 140 kilometers. It's
Wow.
It's bigger than Skyrim, a long way.
Really?
Yeah,
That's-
it's
I'd
actually bigger
missed that
than...
in the bridge I'd seen.
It's bigger than The Witcher 3, I think. So it
Really?
will be probably the biggest game.
Well,
Okay, is it bigger
to
than
Wii
Armour
U or not? To Wii U.
That's a good question. to Wii EU or not? But no, I mean it looks seriously good. I mean, I don't know. There's so much good stuff. There is honestly so much good stuff coming out. I mean, you got the new Final Fantasy, which is massive, absolutely massive, and Zelda, and you've got a lot of things that could really take up your time coming up in the next sort of 3 to 6 months. I mean, actually, the Feet gaming at the moment over the next 6 to 8 months is looking seriously good. Like I felt we've had a bit of a drought for the last year, but you know, because
there's some good titles coming out.
There's a bit of an upturn coming, isn't there?
There is.
Well,
You know,
I'm kind of looking. For me, this month is going to be the start of some of the more interesting titles for me. With I think it's August 28th, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided is coming out, and again, I'm just going to say I'm really looking forward to this one. I liked the last one. I think it's 28th of August. Not August, sorry, July. It's this. It's,
is
that
it?
soon?
No, or is it? It's either 28th of July or 28th of August. It's on its way, and this is where I'm sort of. It's they are literally
23rd
keeping
of August.
23rd of August, or maybe yeah.
It might be the US. I don't know.
Yeah, but
it does say 23rd August.
Again, they've actually pretty much said, not saying anything about the story. All the videos that you're seeing at the moment of the game, they're not giving away any plot spoilers either. All you're going to see is some lush-looking weapons, some nice-looking scenery, some rather interesting dialogue, and the rest of it's all kind of kept tightly in a nice little box.
I mean, it's a game that I would know. I mean, I will get, and I will probably play it through. And I can't say that about a lot of games, if I'm being honest. You know, I find nowadays I pick up games and I kind of give them a go. I mean, actually, the Let's Plays have helped me actually complete games, but there's certain games that, you know, because I feel I need to in that, you know, that situation, it really gets me more into it. But there's certain games like Deus Ex where I could see myself sitting down and playing it the whole way through, and Final Fantasy and Zelda and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
They're few and far between.
Well, the reason why I'm really much looking forward to Deus Ex is because Square Enix picked up Eidos Interactive, or what was the Eidos Interactive, and and what was essentially Ion Storm, and have basically put them together into what is essentially, you know, they've had some very strong releases recently, with the likes of Hitman being an excellent example. Big game, fairly complicated, but once you get into the swing of it, wow, that's a lovely game. They didn't do too badly with Thief, and since then we've just seen an upmark in their production, and I really can't wait.
I mean, they're releasing that in August. They're releasing Fantasy 15 in September, and then they've got, I think in October, they've got World of Final Fantasy, which is actually shaping up to actually look quite good. Even though on first glance it looked kind of crap. So Square Enix seems to be getting their shit together, and I mean, Final Fantasy 15, they're going to have a film out. They've got the anime, which I've been watching some of, which actually is quite good. Like, they seem to seriously be getting their shit together as a company.
Okay,
excellent. It's games reviews time.
Star Wars Lego Episode 7 came out on the 28th, and I've been playing it. It's awesome. It's probably the best Lego game I've played, if you discount Dimensions, which is a very different style of game. As standalone stories go, it's absolutely brilliant. For some strange reason that confused me to start with, it starts on the Battle of Endor, so it's kind of a previously on Star Wars. but it's absolutely brilliant. All the new mechanics they've put in, the multi-build puzzles work really, really well. The humour is there straight away in the cutscenes. The hub worlds, there's a lot of hub worlds. I think there's 5 or 6 hub worlds off the top of my head that you've got missions there to complete. There's all sorts of little secret hidden things to unlock and find. There are now hidden characters locked in carbonite blocks, which you have to find and then defrost to find more characters.
And do you not know who it is you're finding until you've frosted them?
No, No, unless you've got a guide that tells you so and so is at so and so location. But they're scattered throughout all the hubs.
Wow.
Hang on a minute. Surely you should be able to tell if you open up a carbonite box and it turns out that you've got, I don't know, Jabba the Hutt in there, because that would be a pretty freaking big box.
It's a standard token that you defrost.
Oh,
They're not to scale.
No,
but
I
it's
would have thought Jabba the Hutt as well would be kind of.
Well,
he'd be sized down.
The Jabba the Hutt. I'm not overly sure if he's going to be a playable character. I think he might be actually, but there is a Jabba the Hutt character pack. It's not quite available yet.
Oh.
But the two that are, you've got a Jedi character pack and the Hoth character pack are both available. So,
well, a Hutt's Palace would make perfect sense. You know, bounty hunter pack. Every bounty hunter that's ever walked through Jabba's palace would be.
That'd be awesome.
I think it's mostly things like Gamorrean guards and some of the bounty hunters are in there. I think off the top of my head.
Gamorrean guard, Jabba the Hutt,
Bobber,
3 years, maybe Rodians,
IG-88,
Princess Leia in the outfit.
Which one?
The really
bikini
anti-feminist.
Slave Leia would be good. No, I have to admit there is something sort of kinky about the bounty hunter Leia as well. That weird mask and the voice.
Oh, the Bothan.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's extra characters available. There are extra story missions as well that explain how people got their new ships, and certain characters had color change to their arms. So all in all, it's a really, really good game. I've played through the story, and that's about 28% of the game roughly. So it's got a lot of replayability with the hidden areas that you can't get to unless you're in the free play mode. So finding everything is going to take a while, but
that sounds
I'm
like
so jealous.
Hell.
I'm so jealous because I bought this game for my kids for them finishing school, and until then it has to stay wrapped in the box. So
always get some cellotape.
So good.
Pretend it's cellophane.
Yeah, there you go, kids. But soon, I'm sure my son will want me to throw it all with him, which I can't wait.
Yeah.
And then I'll just have to fight my daughter for the controller.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, no, she beat me hands down. I once watched her eviscerate a Jedi, and she didn't just, kill him. Not one stroke. She literally...
beat him when he was down.
It was slow, painful.
When she did it, was she kind of breathing heavily? Kind of like...
No, she was more laughing maniacally.
Holy mackerel.
I think it's an interesting concept, actually. I mean, you as a parent who've got children that are into computer games, because again, this is something that I don't personally see a lot of because I'm going to be 29 in a few weeks. But, I don't have kids or anything like that. And gaming when I grew up was kind of a bit of a niche thing. Probably more so in your time, but it was sort of just about getting popular. But it was still, you didn't talk about it, even though all guys played computer games and some girls, you didn't talk about it publicly because it was embarrassing. But what is it like for the younger generation? Is it a lot more acceptable? Is it kind of...
Oh yeah, the younger generation all play Minecraft or Roblox, and they talk about gaming pretty much all the time. Well, certainly my two do. They're massively into it, and the people they meet, they tend to immediately have a connection through stuff like Minecraft. And also what they tend to do is watch a lot of Let's Plays on YouTube.
Yes, Nick does a lot of that.
The kids love it.
Yeah.
They love the YouTubers, and certainly a lot of Minecraft, but Nate has now kind of branched out into a lot of other games, so strategy games or anything to do with space. He's all over it.
Careful, they could end up in civilization mode.
Yeah,
and that end
stuff like that. He watches Skyline Cities, I think it is. He's watched a bunch of that. He's really into all kinds of Let's Plays.
I mean, there's some games you have, like Kerbal Space Program, unless you're...
I've seen that.
Maybe I'm just stupid, but you have to watch Let's Plays to actually work out how to get off the planet.
Yeah,
if you
clue, like me. Yeah. It's
It's
difficult.
because it uses realistic physics and
Yeah.
rocket science, basically. If you don't build your spaceship right, you're gonna fail miserably. I've seen
Your
It's
balance
fun
is
watching them blow up, though.
I've
Yeah.
seen TV reviewers. They had a challenge where 3 of the reviewers had to launch a space shuttle to the moon and back, and it wasn't pretty. Some of them,
It wasn't.
some
But
of
it
them,
wasn't.
I think some of them burnt up on re-entry. Some
I'm
of them blew
impressed
up
they
on the
made it
launch
that
pad.
far.
Some of them got to the moon
Oh,
and got
wow.
stranded there. They
Did any
haven't-
of them hit the moon?
they basically crashed on the moon, and
Ah.
they were still alive, but they had no way to get home.
Oh, brilliant.
I suppose we should go on to Technomancer, which me and Ferg have definitely discussed a few times, probably in the past. Ferg in particular has been a big advocate for this game for last
Yes.
month, I'd say.
Yeah. This is one of those games that unfortunately has already received some fairly nasty reviews from the likes of IGN.com. Now, when I saw the review, it was already 5 hours old, and I hadn't even been able to download it on Steam because it didn't become available to the UK until 6 o'clock in the afternoon, which, if I'm right, it's around about 9 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii.
Right.
So when the shops opened in Hawaii, we were able to buy the games. But we won't go into that. But IGN had basically given it about 2.5 stars.
No,
5
4.9, I think it got on IGN.
Yeah,
Wow.
they pretty burned it. Now, the way I look at it is there's no possible way that they would have been able to put enough time into that to really get stuck into the game. It took
Well,
me a little
unless they had a
while to
preview
get
copy.
into the game. Yes, there is
But
that
I'll tell you what
possibility.
I wonder with IGN, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist like everyone else on Reddit, but I get the impression that Technomancer may not have given them a review copy, or they may not have had the best relationship with them, because if you look at, if you look at IGN, I mean, if I look at the reviews Metal Gear Solid 5 got from IGN, where they got taken to a lovely little place and they got to play with the developers.
Wined
the
and
developers
dined.
they got wined and
Yeah.
dined, and the developers were over their shoulder asking them if they're having a good time for a whole week. That was a real, privileged experience for those journalists, and it makes me wonder with IGN. I mean, the whole thing with Mass Effect 3, where you have whatever she's called, Chobot woman who's attractive and whatever that people love her because she's attractive. I don't
Whatever
know.
her name is, but look at those games.
Exactly. I mean, she's just basically used it's sad. I don't want to, insult her or her credibility, but they plonked her into Mass Effect 3 as a journalist in that, and she up with the odd line, and you can talk to her. But there is a question about, what is fair journalism, and plonking an IGN journalist in a computer game
In the middle of your game.
who's an NPC that you can talk throughout the whole game.
How
It's a
many
little bit
review points
concerning.
is that worth?
Kind of
Well,
muddies the
exactly.
waters a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I shouldn't go in this far with it, but I mean, it is
a question.
It is a question.
It's a
I wonder
question
whether
that's already been
Technomancer-
asked. This is
Yeah,
the
I
whole
mean-
thing that we had with #Gamergate. Thank you,
Yes.
bloody Adam Baldwin, for that one. Thanks. Appreciated for that. Love you, dude, but damn it.
Also, I mean, context is the Technomancer is from an indie developer that are trying to get bigger, and it's not a bad game. And I think one thing to look as well, The Witcher 1, in my opinion, was a god-awful game with awful combat mechanics. Not good at all. Ran really badly on most computers. However, that series is seen as amazing, and these guys came from a ground of not being new to the gaming industry, and they developed and they got better, and The Witcher 2 was a really big hit, and then they got bigger and bigger, and they're now really successful. I don't feel that Spiders, the developer Technomancer, have really got a fair reception from the general media as a...
I think I'm standing right there with you on this, because I'm now at least a few hours through. I actually trolled through the game yesterday. I didn't finish it by a long stretch, but I've managed to get a good idea of where the story's going. And the most important thing, any new player to Technomancer needs to get their head around, fast as you like, is the combat system. This isn't a hack and slash. If you're expecting to go in there and Vermintide your way through it, forget it. It doesn't work like that. It's less of an actual hack and slash mechanic and more of a dueling mechanic. So when you have multiple targets coming at you, you might want to seriously consider dodging, because your armor is only going to provide you with a very small amount of protection. The whole game surrounds the idea of the weight of the item in your hands is actually slowing you down. So Guardians take a longer time to pull in a swing or do all the rest of it. But they have the ability to block and actually dance backwards. They get to tank it. While the Warriors, where their staves they have very little in the way of defensive mechanism other than their ability to dodge really quite well. But after that, anybody with a gun and has the urge to shoot them, there is absolutely nothing they can do other than a well-timed dodge. Same with the sword and gun. So actually, I want to really explain that essentially that there are 4 combat mechanics in the game. You have the Guardian, shield and mace. You've got the Rogue, which is the sword and gun, well, knife and gun, more or less. You've got the Warrior, which is just a bow staff and a lot of jumping around like a crazy chicken. And the Technomancer, the real highlight of the game, which is your powers, which can be used with all of the other abilities. You can charge weapons, you can chuck lightning bolts around, you can do all of that, and you can interrupt each of the other characters' movements with them. Now, this isn't a turn-based game. It's all done in real time, so don't take your eyes off the screen when you enter combat, because all it takes is for one guy to jump in behind you and just brain you, and that's it. You've lost 3/4 of your health, and you thought, oh my God, I thought I was wearing good armor. You were. You just got sloppy.
I mean, I agree with you about the combat is quite difficult, and I think what would be interesting as well is, how do you feel about the game as a whole? How do you feel about the story, voice acting, the music, that kind of thing? I mean, what do you think about the story? Because I've only played about an hour and a half of it, and I've enjoyed it so far, but there's a lot to come. I'm kind of a bit up in the air with it at the moment.
The story itself is evolving at a very nice, relatively swift pace. You'll spend the prologue kind of jumping around, doing stuff, learning your skills, things like that, go out, fight a boss, come back, and you enter Act 1, so to speak. And the first act, you'll spend a fair bit of time getting to know your very first city. Think of this being a little bit along the lines of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic crossed with Mass Effect 2, where you're running around, you can see things, you can enter combat mode as and when you want, you bump into street criminals, you can get stuck into them right away. But the story itself is progressive. It covers various different angles from the point of the view of an overzealous military group, surprising, the Technomancers themselves, and the local police force sort of thing. They're sort of Ophir's sort of immediate group, and the story very quickly blossoms from there as you discover traitors in your own midst. There's the actions of the Technomancers as opposed to the ASC, which is the military nut jobs. But from there, the music is really not that impressive. You'll probably only get music as background noise as you're walking through marketplaces, and it won't really catch your eye. It certainly didn't catch mine, and I was quite happy to turn the music off for the most part.
There's been a big question about voice acting as well. Like, a lot of media outlets have commented that the voice acting is hit and miss. The main character's not that great half the time. I haven't personally noticed it or seen it as an issue, but I haven't played it long enough. So what?
I actually found that it was actually very much like a TV series. At the beginning of the game, it's like with any actor getting into an initial role. They're kind of like still trying to feel their character. They're trying to find the dialogue that works for it, trying to find the right voice and transport those lines to the audience in a way that the director's looking for. But I found that very quickly into the first act, all of the voice actors got into the swing of it, especially the incidental characters. In fact, I have absolutely no problem with the written dialogue. I thought it was very well written. I like the way the characters are interacted. And while the main character seems a little bit bland, but then again, you are supposed to be sort of transporting yourself into this character. You are building him. He is a completely upgradable character through and through, along with your companions. But as he gets further through the role and as he gets to speak more lines, you start to realize that the voice actor's going, no, I get where I'm going with this. So I don't understand what the issue with it is. As far as I'm concerned, it's streets, if not freaking cities, ahead of the likes of Call of Bloody Duty, where voice acting is, any old sod can come in and do it. Or EA's definition of voice acting, which is, we have no idea who a decent voice actor is, so we'll just get this random actor in. Who's cool these days? I hear the Farscape crew are available.
I think what I found funny about the IGN review was they basically said the game was too hard.
Now, I can appreciate that.
What I'd got from it.
I dropped the difficulty down. Totally admit to dropping it down from normal to easy.
It's a hard game. It really is.
It is. But then again, this is another thing that gamers will understand, and the likes of IGN won't. Gamers like a freaking challenge.
Gamers. This is like late 1990s, early 2000s challenge. It's not a piece of this.
It's not hand-holding you through the game then.
No, but you still always have the opportunity to save at any time, pretty much.
Take a break.
So if you've just finished a hard fight, save, move on.
Get it saved.
If you don't save, you've only got yourself to worry about, and there are lots of autosaves. So what are they complaining about? Is it because they weren't good enough to play the game?
It's instant, all the answers. Yeah, basically.
Straight away.
They
don't want the challenge.
Now they don't want to work their way through it and play the game. Some storylines take a while to explore and expand. You can't just throw it all straight at people straight away, otherwise they'll just be bored of it very quickly. And it adds longevity to the game as well.
Yeah, and I get the sneaking system. I've got a lot more hours into this game because I'm one of those horrible OCD kind of players that's hunting for all the loot, and it doesn't help when the loot spawns on occasion.
Right, I think we've given Technomancer a really good dissection there.
Yeah.
I think, are you doing a review on it or something as well?
I'm hoping to. More information as I actually get some decent cuts from it.
Yeah. So, I mean, that might be coming up at some point. So, Rammy's been doing some things.
Yeah, I was a bit busy last week. I got an advanced copy of The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 2 to have a look at and play through. And if you've played the first one, then Van Helsing 2 sort of really increases on that. More on my thoughts, though. It's an action role-playing game, so in the vein of Diablo 3, Torchlight 2, that type of thing.
Well, you've sold it to me.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and one of the best things about it is the comedy and the pop culture references. One of the missions I did was Saving Private Ryan. There's a lot of comedy that doesn't take away from the world it's set in and the situation. It's sort of a Victoriana kind of thick steampunk feel to it. So, yeah, it's a lovely game to play and a lot of fun. I've been having a great time with it. So, yeah,
what platform is that on?
It's just come out the Xbox One as of the 1st of July. It has been out on PC, available on Steam for some time, I believe, quite a while.
Okay.
But The Adventures of Van Helsing 1 was actually one of the free games on Xbox One back in December.
Sneaking suspicion that might be on my hard drive then.
I'm sure it will. It's certainly worth a playthrough, and certainly before playing Van Helsing 2, if you can find the time, finish Van Helsing 1, because the story literally kicks off from the very end of Van Helsing 1. And it gives you a couple of options for character. You can either start out at level 1, or you can create an elite, a veteran character at level 30. And certainly jumping in at the level 30 character, if you've not got your save from Van Helsing 1 to import, is a lot more fun because you've got so many more toys to play with. But it also gives you 3 character classes. There's the Hunter class, which is sort of a gun and sword. There's the Thaumaturge, which is a slinger. And there's the Arcane Mechanic that uses all kinds of technology and magic. And that's the one I've been running through on because it got to play with a big flamethrower. And as I say, jumping in at level 30, a lot more fun and a bit more easier to get into the game.
Is it a multiplayer game?
I believe it is multiplayer, but not couch co-op, which is disappointing because I like playing the action RPGs couch co-op. I'm a big advocate for couch co-op, love that, and there just isn't enough of it. But you can hook up with friends online. I also had a first look at Book, which is currently in pre-alpha, and the build is very, very pre-alpha. There were a few bugs and issues with it. It's on Kickstarter at the moment, and I believe when this podcast comes out, there should be about 16 days left to go for that. I didn't get very far into this, which was really disappointing, and I'm putting that down to some problems with the build, mainly probably my keyboard skills, because I'm so rusty. I'm so used to a controller that now my abilities with a keyboard are lackluster at best and absolutely atrocious, if we're being perfectly honest. So I couldn't even beat the first level. But again, that looks like it will be interesting. It's kind of an action platformer brawler, but it's still very early days, but one to watch definitely for his Book. But if you want to read my full thoughts on either of those, you can go along to the Wonky Spanner, and they're up there on the site now. Should we move on to Let's Plays?
Yep.
Yeah.
That people have been doing?
Just a bit of a brief one. I mean, we've only got things down, but I don't know if anyone else has been doing anything. I mean, Spindle's been doing his episode 4 of his Walking Dead Let's Plays come out, and that's on the YouTube channel, so you should go check that out. I think he's got one more episode to go, so it'd be a good time to pick it up actually, because you can start, it's what?
Yeah, if you've not seen it yet, you can watch it all through from the start if you're having to play it yourself.
Yeah,
and they've also mentioned a Walking Dead season 3 with Clem. That's been released. They've brought that up, haven't they? Yeah, it's on its way.
No, I mean,
Clem about a
maybe
year
releasing
older.
all sorts of Walking Dead episodes over the next sort of few months. I mean, there's quite a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
There's the 100 days or 300 days, something like that. Episode.
Yeah, there's
season 2.
Then there's season 2, and then there's the
Michonne. Entire, a separate campaign for her. So.
Michonne's next season. Yes.
There's quite a lot, really. I don't want to speak for Simon, but I think he may well be running through The Walking Dead the whole way through. I don't know if he is or not, but I think he probably will be, because he seems quite keen on those. So that's that. I mean, you've got some Life is Strange I've been doing for the last few weeks. There's the 4th episode. It has come out. The 5th one probably next week.
Is the 5th one the last episode then, Steph?
It
Life
is.
is Strange.
This is my first Let's Play, so the episodes are...
Be gentle.
Be gentle, and the episodes are like 2 hours long, and it's too long for a Let's Play. So in future, from now on, most Let's Plays... I mean, I'm doing Firewatch probably next. I think that's coming out next. I'm not sure, but I've got loads that are coming out in the process of. So Firewatch might be next. They're quite long as well, but after that, it should be max about an hour, half an hour, because I feel like 2 hours is a lot to ask for someone to sit and watch. I don't think people want to sit there for that long. I mean, I might be interesting, but I'm not that interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of other stuff coming out that I'm looking at. I mean, there's Until Dawn that will come out at some point. Oxenfree, which is a great game. I'd recommend anyone to try that out. It's an indie game I think it's come out on PC, PlayStation 4, and probably Xbox as well. It's kind of a point-and-click adventure game.
Ooh.
Brilliant game.
So,
absolutely brilliant.
People can find the Let's Plays on YouTube.
Is it not the Wonky Spanner channel?
It is. I mean, if you go on, I mean, to be honest, the easiest way to find it is just type Wonky Spanner into YouTube, and it will be the first thing that comes up, and that's the channel, and everything's there. There's all sorts of stuff. I mean, there's the gaming stuff that we've done, and Simon's done. There's a lot of coverage at the moment about Comic-Con. In fact, me and Rammy will be doing that. We'll talk about it a bit later. There's the Nerdverse as well podcast. There's all sorts of stuff
All things
going
nerdy.
on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yes.
loads of
Go
stuff.
fill your boot.
Yeah, if you're bored, loads of stuff to listen to, watch, whatever.
And
There's
also-
even stuff.
Also
Carry
on the wonkyspanner.com, go to the bottom of the page with your nerdy questions for a nerducation.
Exactly. Everyone is a nerd.
If you have
Yeah.
any doubts about something, pass it by Spindles, Brendan, and the rest, because they can answer it. If you have a
Especially
question,
if
they
you're having an
can
argument
answer it.
about a particular sci-fi, they'll
Yeah.
weigh in.
They'll
Who'll
know.
win? Who'll win in a fight? Doctor Doom or Doctor Octopus? They can answer that question for you.
Oh, and brief mention, we are on iTunes.
Oh yes.
So check that out. All you have to do is search Wonky Gamer and we will be there. So it's that simple. Tried it out today. That's how you find us. You just type in our name and you can find us. So it's nice and straightforward. You can subscribe to it. You can get them downloading automatically. If you're into it, into the cast and stuff, so you don't have to worry about, downloading.
Ever
on the
missing an
day or
episode.
listening it.
However, using iTunes.
What? What's so wrong with that? Is there something wrong with iTunes?
I'm not even going to get me
No,
started.
No,
we're moving on.
Let's move
Moving
on to
swiftly
games.
Let's move along.
Games coming this
iTunes
month
is
on-
great, guys. Ignore Ferg. It's great. iPhones are awesome. Don't buy those Androids.
Other podcast suppliers are available.
Yes.
Coming this month on Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus. Free games, hooray!
Yes.
On the Xbox One is Banner Saga 2.
Yeah.
1st of July to the 31st
Through
of
to the
July.
31st.
Tumblestone is July 16th to 16th of August.
So what do you guys think about? I mean, Banner Saga 2, I would personally think that's a really cool option. That's a cool game.
That is.
I've
I
heard
just
good
started
things.
trying to give it a play. It seems very difficult, and again, like Van Helsing too, it seems to continue right on from wherever the Banner Saga left off. So again, playing the first
Yeah.
one seems to
It's
be
a-
the way to go.
Very narrative-driven, turn-based strategy game set in a sort of Nordic alternate history where giants are quite prolific. And yeah, you basically select very specific characters from the storyline. In some cases, the narrative will make you choose between two characters for whatever reason. And after you've made that decision, that character will very likely not turn up again in your story. So each playthrough has a different way to go.
What's the
Read into that, isn't it?
replayability then?
Oh yeah, love the first one. Artistically beautiful.
It looks hand-drawn, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, there's a
It looks
particular art
pretty.
style.
I don't know anything about Tumbles.
No, neither do I.
I believe it's a puzzle game.
Right. Okay.
I think it's from an indie developer. I'm not 100% sure myself.
I'll have to
But
take a look at that one then.
we'll let you know more after July the 16th.
Yeah.
So
My birthday.
for the Xbox, he's going to keep reminding us. For the
Donate at
Xbox,
www. No, I'm joking. Carry on. Sorry.
give me all your money.com. Xbox 360, the free titles this month are Rainbow Six Vegas 2 is the 1st of July to the 15th. Tron Evolution is July 16th to July 31st. So that's your Xbox
Excellent.
titles. I've played Tron. I quite enjoyed that. There's a lot of free running in that one.
I did as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of Tron, so can't
Yeah,
wait for
same.
the 16th. I
Can I
didn't
ask you
pick
a
it up when
question
it
about
came
that?
out.
Is you guys with your Xbox Ones, can you download the Xbox 360 games and play them backwards compatible on your?
Yes, that's
Can.
part of the rules for getting
Wow. It's
an
amazing.
Xbox One.
Effectively, an
It
Xbox
coming
One
out as part of Games with Gold, it has to be backwards compatible.
Really?
And that's generally-
cool.
When they announce, oh, this is coming backwards compatible because we're giving it away free for the month.
I
So
didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
awesome.
Effectively,
Once
an
you've
Xbox-
downloaded it,
an Xbox One owner effectively gets four free games a month.
Yeah.
As long as they've got
that
games
is-
with gold.
That is a definite plus for Xbox, because PlayStation is pretty minimized. You have to own the different consoles for everything.
Speaking of PlayStation, what have we got coming out there then?
Well, there's Fury, which is kind of, I think it's an indie-based game. I've watched a few videos on it. I don't know enough about it really, but it looks like the plot is you're escaping some kind of prison, have a sword and a shield, and you can. It's kind of like a very. It looks like a lot of boss battles, to be honest. Maybe I haven't looked into it enough, but from what I've seen, it looks like you have to jump over telegraphed moves from an enemy and to defeat bosses, and it's almost like a fighter game. Almost has kind of a bit more complexity, and a lot of it's based on reactions and that kind of thing. There's some quite positive kind of coverage of it. I mean, it is a new game. It hasn't. I don't think it's officially come out yet. For some reason, it's been given out free as a PlayStation Plus, but it's got some nice media coverage of it so far. I don't know why.
Post-statement, as it were.
Or yeah, I mean. Maybe it's a great game, maybe I can't help being slightly cynical about the fact that a game that's never come out is getting so much positive coverage, but I am a cynical individual,
You're a
I
cynical gamer
apologise.
too.
I mean, it looks good. The art style is very unique. It's kind of that indie game style of kind of being very visually striking and different, and kind of almost like the Zelda Wind Waker in terms of being kind of cel-shaded and that kind of sort of.
Yeah, I quite like the cel-shaded art style, so...
It looks interesting. It's something I will give a go when it appears on July the 5th. I mean,
What's
the
next then?
Saints Row Get Out of Hell.
Standalone expansion for Saints Row 4.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's taken its sweet coming out for the PS4, hasn't it?
No, it's because it's free. It's been out for a
that'll be
while. It's
why.
been out for
All right,
quite a
thank
considerable
goodness.
time.
I mean, I think
But
is
it's
it
now free.
Saints Row 4? It
It's
hasn't been a
Saints Row,
fifth one, is there?
it's Saints Row 4.5, basically.
Oh,
I
right.
mean, for me personally, I played Saints Row games. They didn't sell it that much to me, but the fact that they're kind of their big title, because it's these are two games on the PlayStation 4, so their biggish title is a standalone expansion.
Right.
Yeah.
Not personally, it's not.
Not good enough, maybe?
Well, I mean, you do get some good stuff.
You'd
on
hope for
PlayStation
more.
Plus, but I mean, this month personally, I'm not particularly hyped about
The
anything
freebies.
coming out. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
no, that's the way it is. But
I'd probably be more interested in Saints Row than, say, something like GTA, simply because I much prefer Saints Row irreverence towards it all, while
Oh,
GTA
really?
appears to be just one long stinking tutorial.
I like GTA.
GTA 5 was good. I
It was
enjoyed
really
GTA
good.
5.
Yeah,
Ha.
San Andreas was good.
What else have we got on the PlayStation Plus?
Then we got PS3.
Yeah, PS3 is Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood, also Fat Princess.
I've played Fat Princess.
What's it like?
It's a fun game. Like you play online. I think it's about protect your fat princess, or you have to get food to feed her or something. It's a bit weird.
Oh my word!
It's a bit odd, but it's an evil set kind of game. It's a bit odd.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I can't remember.
Sorry, I'm currently
It was weird.
resisting.
It was
I'm
just a
resisting
bit
the
weird.
urge to make a lot of Benefit Street jokes, but that's about it. Moving on.
Don't get political.
Moving
We've
on.
already made a mistake
Moving
on
on.
the Brexit conversation already, and have been too honest about my opinion on it. Like
Also,
Brexit Tourette's.
yeah,
Yeah.
Brexit rats. Call of Juarez. Has anyone played that game? Anyone has any idea of what this is about?
no.
Isn't
I've
it-
missed them all.
Gunslingers?
I think
Yeah.
it's
Western.
It's a Western. I think it's supposed to be a bit sort of Grand Theft Horsey, Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, is it?
Ooh, that might be alright then, because I love Red Dead Redemption. So,
Sad fact of the podcast day. I don't think these games are backwards compatible with PlayStation 4. So
No, if you haven't got a PS3, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to be able to play them. You may be able to get them through backwards-
PlayStation Now,
That's the one. PlayStation
where
Now.
they hide most of their backwards compatibles. It's
Yeah.
like the rental system.
I'll be honest about PlayStation Now. I think it's not really that good. I think they could get a much better catalogue of games on there, but that's just my opinion.
What, despite all their
there will
exclusives?
be technical issues with that because of differing technologies between PS3 and PS4.
Well, essentially, though, it's just a streaming service. It isn't actually
Yeah.
making games backwards compatible. It's on a server. The games are loaded on, and you stream. You input your like you just stream the video from the game as you input the controls, and it gets uploaded. So it's their answer to backwards compatibility in a sense, but you have to pay monthly for it. Yeah. It's not much, but I mean, for me personally, there aren't the kind of games that I would do that for. I mean, if they put out, I don't know, Final Fantasy or some great 3 games like Metal Gear 4 or that kind of stuff, stuff people actually
really
would
want
really
to
like
play.
to invest in. Yeah, like they could have a real winner on their hands with that, but they just seem to be getting very kind of, in my opinion, low budget games. Really
saving the cop, as it were.
So
PS1 and PS2 games, which great, but
it's some kind of, there'll be some sort of technical reason for it, I'm sure.
Probably, yeah.
Moving on, Orochiga Tainted Bloodlines for the PS Vita.
Oh, really?
I haven't checked it out. Anyone else?
No
don't have a
idea.
Vita, so
And
I'm
also
not sure.
Prince of Persia Revelation, the PS Vita.
But I enjoyed lots of the other Prince of Persia's, the ones that were available on Xbox.
I mean, Orochiga's got 78% of
On
positive score.
Metacritic.
Prince of Persia's 65. So I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult for us to comment on PS Vita because I don't think any of us have it. I do have a PS Vita, but
I do have a PS Vita.
Oh right.
But I often find problems with actually even finding the PlayStation Plus titles on it. They're often not what's quoted, it seems to be, or they just appear for weeks, and I just don't understand what's going on. It just doesn't seem to update. I don't know whether that's an issue with my PS Vita or what it is, but it's certainly not straightforward like it is with the PS3 or with the PlayStation 4.
I mean, I think hands down Xbox won this round.
Yeah, right. I agree there.
My biggest concern is that and that Prince of Persia, it's just my opinion, but Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and Two Thrones were, as far as I'm concerned, the essential Prince of Persia experience. If you've played those, you'll always be disappointed by every game that's come since. And that for me is a heartbreaking thing, because the Prince of Persia games, for me, those first 3 were absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
And I would really like someone to come out with a Prince of Persia game that's a little bit more up to date, that ignores the movie entirely and some of the other stuff that they've thrown in there, and actually give us a Prince again that to fill that void
that the people can get behind and truly believe in.
All Ferg wants is a Prince.
Yeah.
Please apply to the Wonky Gamer. That's wonkyspanner.com.
I keep on getting generals from the Congo, and I'm looking for a prince. Come on, guys.
What is your Facebook account, Ferg? Should we let everyone know? Or?
No. No.
Now it's time for all the very latest info about events to do with games and stuff.
Okay, so me and Rammy are going to Manchester Comic Con on the 30th to the 31st of July.
Woohoo!
If anyone happens to be there and you see... I don't know how to describe us, really. We're going to have press passes. Rammy's got, like, a beard.
A huge beard at the moment.
A huge beard.
There is a picture of me on the wonkyspanner.com wearing Jedi robes, so...
Oh, nice.
You can... I'll look similar to that, but...
Will you turn up at the convention with those on instead?
I'm considering it.
Cosplay, do it.
I know, gotta love it.
But yeah,
somehow they will make themselves known.
What else is going on? I mean, I've had a look at the website. There isn't.
At the moment, it's still early days. They've not really released
I
much
don't even
that's
know
going to
if
be
there's
there.
going to be. I mean, I did go last year, and there was a lot of League of Legends cosplay. I mean, maybe I missed something, but I didn't see a single computer game booth. So we may well be covering.
On the website, it does say Play God Eater 2 at the Bandai Namco booth which is booth
But
1611.
where? Is that Manchester Comic Con, or is that
I
actually
hope so.
London? Because
Yeah.
I'm not sure, if I'm being honest, because last year I got kind of hyped for games that were going to be there, and there was nothing. So I don't know if we're going to come back with anything on games. I mean, we'll probably have a lot of stuff.
We'll let you know if we find
We'll
nothing.
know sooner to the date, really, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have some coverage of, like, especially television. I mean, there's Davidson from, I think he was the fifth Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke Pasquinalis, he was in Battlestar Blood and Chrome. He was the young William Amidala. Adama even.
I've not watched Blood and Chrome yet.
Yes, he's in
the Musketeers series that's just concluded. Yes.
And do watch Chrome, because it is shit hot, and I watched it and was really sad that they didn't then make an actual series of it, because it was really good.
Right, it was that
good.
It
was supposed to be the prelude to it all, wasn't it?
And it was really good.
I'm really bad when it comes to equal stuff like that. It's like, oh, but you're not carrying on the actual story. It's just what happened before, and I know where they all end up, so...
Hello, Battlestar, like,
it's all right. No one actually followed Battlestar Galactica after the first miserable season.
Rubbish!
The original Battlestar Galactica was
my favourite series ever.
I did watch it to the end.
Brilliant. I watched it
the
to the end.
original one or the new one?
The new one. Both.
The new one.
Oh, that was
Both.
even worse. The new one was...
Oh, quiet, Ferg.
Horrible.
Ferg. We're gonna
Don't listen to Ferg, everyone.
I liked Starbuck, though. I think we can all agree on that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, also, Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
The original Ewok is going to be there. He's in Harry Potter. He was the main actor in Willow, wasn't he?
Oh,
He was the main character
He was
in Willow.
also the evil leprechaun.
Absolute
I was just about to bring up
god.
the Leprechaun movies.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Was he in Star Wars: The Force Awakens? I think it says that he was.
Yes,
And
I think he was.
He's an absolute hero. I mean, from
Yeah.
a very young age, he's been involved in Star Wars. He's going to be there, so we will get a kind of a video of his panel and him talking, because it will be really interesting to see.
He'll be good.
I've got a question for you if you do see him. Is it all right to toss the Nelwyn? Just out of curiosity.
Is it all right to toss Elwyn? Because you're not allowed to toss dwarves. Is that it?
Well, yeah. Pretty much.
Right.
Oh my god, we're going to get
Just
beaten up by
wanna know.
Warwick Davis.
Yes.
Oh, you've got to record that.
And here's the footage of Rammy getting beaten up by Warwick Davis.
So, hello, my name's Rammy from the Wonky Spanner. I just wanted to know whether it's okay to toss the Nelwyn. Oh, he's coming over to answer in person. Ow! The pain! Oh god, make him stop!
3.5 million views later.
But I mean, that's Comic-Con. I mean, I don't know what we're going to come back with, to be honest. Hopefully a lot, but whether it's games...
Fingers crossed there will be some games there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the Attack on Titan will be there, because it was in London, and I really want to see Attack on Titan.
I would like to see that. It was
August,
the big news
isn't it?
last year, actually.
Yeah, that's August.
Yeah.
So you may be lucky.
Maybe.
Fingers crossed.
So I think... I'm guessing that's everything. Is there anything else anyone wants to report?
I think that wraps it up.
Actually, the one thing I was going to just quickly throw out there for all those Steam players out there, keep an eye on the indie titles. I know it's been a little quiet recently, but there's some little gold nuggets sneaking around out there, and they're turning up a bit. I just want to bring people's attention to one small little indie game called Pamela. P.A.M.E.L.A. So, yeah, just Pamela with lots of dots in it. And, yes, it struck me as being a sci-fi horror thing. It's NVYVE Studios, and that, yes, they would. It reminded me of Dead Space 1 meeting System Shock.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this is indie developer that's not really kind of making it big, so just thought I'd throw that one in there. Check it out.
It's made in Unity, actually, as well, wasn't it?
Possibly, yes. So,
P-A-M-E-L-A.
with dots between each letter, yes.
Yeah, it was made
Pamela.
in Unity. It looks really, really nice, actually. I'm just watching a trailer as we speak.
Be warned.
Looks interesting.
Right.
Want to keep an eye on it? Yes.
Any
Okay.
last comments?
Yeah.
Nope, I think that's
I'm still beautiful.
Well, I'm just going to avoid saying anything about the EU.
Careful, his Brexit.
Jeremy
Tourette's.
Corbyn.
Well done.
That's all I'm going to say, Jeremy Quinn.
Right.
And then I'm going to leave. Bye.
His
I'm
Brexit
just
Tourette's
gonna
is
say-
firing up again.
Seth, buy a Wii U so we can play Zelda.
Yes, I've wanted someone to peer pressure me into it. Thank you.
Oh,
You
I'm
are the
brilliant
person
at
that
peer
has solved
pressure.
that problem.
If you need peer pressure, I've got peer pressure out the
Just spam me
wazoo.
messages every day and I'll
Oh,
get
not
one.
a problem.
Sweet.
You're actually giving me permission to use peer pressure on you?
I really need some peer pressure so I
Wow.
can justify it to myself.
That's
Anyway,
Rammy,
amazing.
And
Get back.
and on that
Get
note,
back on the Terraria.
I think that's it from us. Thank you for listening.
Thank
Hello.
you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Ta-ra! Be
Take care.
excellent to each other.
Have fun.
Drunken Zelda.
Yeah, so IGN, go hang yourself.
You've got Brexit Tourette's.
I like bright lights and shiny things.
Other podcast suppliers are available.
Yeah.